Good evening, YouTube world. I'm just sorting myself out, so I will have a brief musical interlude while I'm getting myself sorted. I put my sim self up, and I think I'm just going to change it, so I shall be back in 1 second. Hi, Danny. How are you, love? I'm glad you've popped in because I was going to actually drop you a message because after I don't know, did you catch last night about the murder that I was discussing and maybe considering doing? Because I do think it needs covering. However, after I got offline last night, I started thinking about delivery and whatnot, and it's just not my true crime's just not my thing, and I don't think that I would give it the justice that it deserves. So I didn't know if, maybe it might be something up your street, Danny, if you'd fancy covering it, because it isn't even, it's not very well known in this country. But I don't know, the delivery that you have on murders and so on, they're so much more professional than mine are, and that's probably because that's kind of your thing, isn't it? Where true crime's like an afterthought with me. So yeah, so basically I was just going to send you a message to go, I don't know if you fancy covering it at some point, and I'll just leave it alone, because it is it's incredibly heartrending and gruesome. But it's not well known in this country, so there'll be very few people will have heard of it outside of the UK. But as I mentioned yesterday, it's on a par with the Junko Furuto case of Japan, if you've heard of that one. So I don't know what you think, but, have a think about it. Let me know. And I'm more than happy to not go anywhere near it if it's something that you think you might have some interest in covering, because I just know that I wouldn't be able to give it the justice or do it the justice that it deserves. So just something to have a think about anyway. Simples, how you doing? I'm sorry about last night, chicken. I wasn't going to come online, and I'd got a message from Green Eyes had messaged me to ask me how I was feeling, and I was having, I was texting back and forth with her, and she happened to mention that BAM was live, and I was like, shit, I didn't get a notification. So I nipped in there. I just caught the back end of it, and because everyone was in there, I thought, oh, do you know what? I'll come online because she closed down. So that's how I ended up being on so late. But I'm glad you've caught this evening. Just wait for a few more people to come in. I was going to play it as a bit of Harry Connick Jr. to start my stream off. I didn't expect anybody to be waiting for me, so that was quite a nice surprise. Been on YouTube all day, then only found BAM for an hour. Yeah, well, like I said, mine was like that last half an hour. Oh, Marie, hello. Hello, my lovelies. Just popped in to say hi. I've not done very well on the health side lately. Oh, Marie, I'm really sorry to hear that, love. Oh, I hope you're on the mend now. I've been dying as well. But mine's nothing serious. It's just been a busted jaw off one of the horses, and then heavy cold, stroke, maybe COVID, but I really don't know. So, but yeah, I'm coming out the other side, but I won't be on that late tonight because it's wiped me out. How what's been wrong, Marie? If you don't mind me asking, you know, and are you on the mend? Danny, you do a wonderful job anytime you do your storytelling. Oh, thank you. I'd love to hear you cover a true crime case. Just by 2 cents. Okay, right, no problem. Yeah, you know, because I wanted it to have some covering anyway. But I just thought, well, I think you've gathered by now, I'm not precious in any way, shape, or form. And if I think somebody else may get some either more pleasure or do a better job out of covering something than I possibly would, I'm quite happy to hand the reins over. So, but yeah, I can cover it. The thing is, there isn't anything stopping you covering it at a later date if you think it's something that your own subs might enjoy listening to. I suppose enjoy is the wrong word, really, Danny, isn't it? You can't really enjoy something that gruesome. But anyway, but yeah, I shall do a bit. I shall do a bit. There's a lot of people seem to have covered it, so yeah, it's just amazed me how it hasn't got the recognition that it has. But tonight is not about murders. Tonight, as I was saying yesterday, is about another mysterious animal-related death. And, as it says on the title, the fuckload of drama is concerning the cryptid community, because everything is every community on YouTube seems to be suffering from drama, and the cryptid community is no exception. So don't worry, the drama I'm referring to is nothing related to any of the corners of YouTube that we generally congregate in, such as true crime or the drama, whatever you want to call it. So it's just relating to the dogmen things. Marie, I will hopefully get there. It's can smell. Oh, Marie! Oh God, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for prying, my love. I really am. Well, I hope that you're kicking its arse. Let's put it that way. It's when my friend was having her, she had chemo, and then I can't remember which way around it was. It was either the radio first or the chemo. And it just wiped her out. She was so exhausted all the time, and she kicked its arse. It took a long time, but she kicked it. So, and my dad as well. So yeah, you kick it up the arse several times, beat it over the head with a gin bottle, and dance on it. And we'll all help you, Marie. We'll do the same. We'll dance all over it. So how's things with you then, Simples? And what have you been up to? Frida, hello, hello. It's never alive unless the Frida and the Simples and the Danny and the Maries and who else comes in? Kathy's and Julia and Bedtime, Over Missed, and Mrs. Mercury. I'll tell you what, on Paula as well, the lovely Paula. I've missed people out. I am going to kill myself. And Voodoo and Nuff North. Has anybody seen Blue Rose around? Just a bit worried about her because I've not seen her for, quite a while now. I know she'd had a rough time of it last year, bless her, with the bereavement. And yeah, and she was always popping in, even if it wasn't for very long. Oh, and Meadow as well. Forgot, I just remembered there's Meadow and Starlight and Sam and, oh, help me out with names. Who am I missing? And Lady, what the fucking hell, there we go. Lady Witch, oh my God. And Green Eyes and Raven. Lady Witch, fuck cancer, you got this, Marie, and we've got you. Sending prayers. Abso-effing-lutely, Lady Witch. And that is getting highlighted up here. Oh, and Sid Vicious as well. I'm trying to remember all the people who are in here on a regular basis, and I'm leaving names out left, right, and centre. I think my oh, Sheila, yeah. Oh, I've not seen Sharon for ages either. Oh, and Anne, not seen Anne Westwood for ages, although I saw her somewhere. Oh, it's on Cassius's one of Cassius's posts. Yes, Marie, Lady Witch has the power. Believe it. And I'll tell you what as well. Never underestimate the power of a group of women all sending the same thoughts about the same topic at the same time, whether that be for good or bad. So, you know, and I'm not putting down the guys in the chat, but women, we have the power. It's the goddess energy, regardless of which god you pray to. We've got, yeah. So, and Lady Witch is our little channel, or our big channel, for all things positive and healing. So thank you, Lady Witch. Oh, by the way, Lady Witch, have you got I heard when I was, because obviously I came in at the back end of BAM's live last night, I believe you've got a link, have you, for your cats, that you're collecting money, well, or rather for people to donate for care for your cats. Do you want to drop the link into the chat, honey? Or if anybody else has got the link. I meant to ask you last night, and when you came in towards the end of it, I'd kind of forgotten by that point. I'm really sorry. My brain's just not holding up at the moment, but yeah, if you want to, if you or anybody else who's got Lady Witch's link, don't, Lady Witch, you honestly, all of you, nobody needs to ask. You just, if you're fundraising, if you've got PayPals, if whatever, please feel free, stick them in my chat. You don't have to ask, love. You know that. I just felt really bad because I don't know why, but I didn't know about this. So yeah. So for anybody else, Lady Witch is rescuing cats and kittens, and is, you know, some of them need medical help and they need spaying, neutering, what have you, just to stop the endless catch-22 of kittens having kittens. So if anybody can help, Lady Witch will drop the link, and yeah, and just keep sticking it in through the night. Just don't ask, just bung it in there. I'll see if I can pin it when it appears, because I can't pin from my phone, but I might be able to pin from my tablet. How are we doing for time? I'll do another 5 minutes of general chitty chatty, and then I shall get on with tonight's topic, because it has made me chuckle quite a bit. I noticed when I logged on this morning, there was and I don't know why people who I don't follow, they're constantly coming up in my recommended list, you know, and I don't need to name any names, but, you know, certain croaky creator who never fact checks anything, and I'm like, oh my god, how many lives and clapbacks are you going to do in one day? I didn't watch, but it just made me laugh, because I remember what Frida said last night, you know, we'll probably end up getting a mention on one of the lives. And I thought, oh, after yesterday, oh, I wonder if we pop up in there. So I don't know if anybody heard anything or not, just while we're killing a bit of time. And I will at some point have to have a 30-second break away from here because Le Porky will be going to work because he's working nights now. He's got the best job. He's got the best job. He's oh, maybe I won't tell you what he does, but it's concerning alcohol. And not only is it concerning alcohol, but we're doing a lot of sampling of said alcohol, and it's really good. So yeah, at the minute I've decided he has the best job ever, apart from his working nights. So at the moment we're a little bit ships passing, not even passing in the night actually, we're passing in the morning. So he goes to work, he'll be going to work within the hour, and then he finishes at 6 and he's home before 6:30. It is Frida, it's the best job. It's the best job. And then it's usually as I'm going out, so I'm going out to do the horses and then walk the dog, and then I'm starting work, so he's in bed, and then he'll wake up at like kind of tea time-ish. So I'll make a meal and then he'll maybe go back to sleep for an hour or two, or you know, go in his office for a little bit and then he's out again. So yeah, at the moment we're like ships passing in the night, or not the night. Hey, I found a channel. I think he would make a good tour guide. He would. He really would. Apart from Frida, he got really, really pissed off. You know, when we were in York, and he was trying to tell the story at one of these places we were at, and he fucked it off in the end because there were just pissed people everywhere, and he just got really. You could see his face. He got really cross. He was trying to tell the story of Guy Fawkes, and he kept having to stop, and then he'd stop, and then he'd having to stop. I have a seafood wallet. Oh my goodness. Come on, who is Ivor Stinking Fudge Wallet? I know you've got Mrs. Portland's photo up as your avatar. I think that's Sheila. Who do we reckon? Who do we reckon? Well, there was that one, and then there was another one that oh gosh, I can't remember if it was the last incognito or the one before that I reckoned was Paula. If I reveal myself, can I just keep this name? I've become rather fond of it. You absolutely can. You absolutely can, Ivor Stinking Fudge. Is it oh, let me just put this down. Guys and gals, there is just, let me see, can I pin this? Oh, bugger. Toddling off to bed now, sleep well. Oh, Marie, you take care, darling. Hopefully we'll see you soon. Get plenty of rest, plenty of positive thoughts. Come back in here whenever you want some girly positive vibes coming your way. You take care, sweetheart. It's been lovely to see you. Lovely to see you. Night night, my darling. Right, let me just see if I can pin this link of Lady Witches, because I can't do it on my phone, but I might be able to do it on my tablet. Just make sure I've got no sound on it. Right. So about this, you're getting a blow-by-blow account of everything I'm doing. Pin. Now, hopefully, that has worked. Yeah, Lady Witch's link should be pinned now at the top of the chat. So I can't see on my phone, but let's hope that's worked out. Right, let me. Oh, crikey. So, Simples, I've just gone off fudge. Who do we? You see, what I wanted to know was, is this Ivor stinking fudge packet? Is this just your identity in my chat, or is that your identity in every chat? Have you got? Is this more than one account that you've got? Because if so, leave yourself as that in here. Feel free. But I'm reckoning it's Sheila. Oh, just noticed Lady Witch's photo. Well, your avatar. Right. So how many cats and kittens have you got at the moment, Lady Witch? Just so we can give, and if you want to put any details, you know, in the chat about them and what have you, please feel free. You know, I've said it doesn't matter what I'm talking about. This is like our chat. It's not my chat. So, you know, links, post what you like. Information, post what you like. If you need any help for whatever you post it, please do. 14 cats and 10 kittens. Oh my goodness. God, that's no cheap do either, is it? And are these just cats that you're finding in the local area, or are the cats that people are coming, you know, they know that you're a soft touch for a pussy cat, and you know, they rock up at your house with a sob story and then dump the cat on you? Or it is a massive handful, Frida, isn't it? Gosh. It's like, then again, I can't say anything. Look at me with the flipping sheep. I mean, I know what it's like. You know, you get suckered in, don't you? And you just can't turn anything away. Anyway. Right. So I shall get down to it, because I'm chattering away and I'm wasting time. And what I want to do is give you all a little taster of what's been going on, because as you remember, we were discussing some mysterious animal related deaths in America a couple of weeks ago. You know, so ones where they'd say they think it was canines, but they've done DNA and it's an undetermined type of canine-esque animal. And there's military involvement and so on and so forth. So, oh, bear with me a second. Sorry, we've just got Lady Witch. Problem is that I had an amputation that got infected. I am sepsis. I can't work as much. Then came 4 pregnant mamas and I just couldn't. Oh, Lady Witch. Oh my goodness, I didn't know that, darling. Oh, God. And I suppose as well, especially with like open, you know, open wounds or new wounds, especially around cats, you've got to be very careful, haven't you? Oh, gosh. Bloody hell. Oh, and obviously Danny After Dark. I know Danny's working, but she'll appreciate this because she works at a cat shelter as well, doesn't she? Is it Salem where she's working at? So she does a massive lot of work as well for rescuing cats and so on. So, oh gosh, you poor thing. Oh well, anybody who can, yeah, no, Simples. Well, I didn't know the operation. I knew that she'd said she'd been in hospital. Hi, Sid. Hello, and say hello to the lovely Nancy, please. Hope you're both doing well tonight. Just saying, I've pinned Lady Witch's link at the top of the chat for the cats, and she's just been telling us a little bit, what's going on there. So anybody who's listening, I know everybody who's watching isn't in the chat, but if anybody can spare a bit, to help the cause for Lady Witch, that link's there. It's up on screen and it's also at the top of the chat pinned. So please press it and give if you can. And if you can't, please send us some positive thoughts and love. So if I constantly improving, but it's taking forever. Oh, bloody hellfire. Sounds like an absolute nightmare, Lady Witch. Do you know, and isn't that always the case? The people who are out there doing a bit, doing good, helping people are the ones that end up, things that, shit goes wrong for you, or you end up having all these, like, either dramatic injuries or operations or illnesses. And then the people who do nothing for anybody else, selfish bastards, they never have anything happen to them. They just breeze through life. So, just having a read through the chat. Nancy's, oh no! Nancy's not having a good day today, so she's gone to bed. She's the odd off day. It's quite normal. Oh, well, so long as it's normal, then that's okay. Not okay that she's having an off day. I'll be honest with you though. I was thinking last night that I was feeling loads better, and I'm having some real dizzy spells today. So I'm hoping it stays off long enough for me to finish, what I wanted to do today. Right. So I'm going to tell you about this bit of controversy that's going on in the dogman community, or the cryptid community, or whatever you want to call it. It's relating to, again, another animal related death, mysterious animal related death, and out of all of them, this one is stirring up a hornet's nest. Now, this happened, I think it was, let me just double check, I've written it down, I think it's 2020, so it happened 2 years ago. Okay, February 2020. And there are a lot of different versions of this story flying. Hiya, Cassius! Hi, Kiss and Chat. Fuck, I've been AWOL and my internet's been crap. It's good to catch you on. Oh, well, Cassius, have you seen what I used as the thumbnail for this live? I found the photograph of Gobble and Go in Johnston's Terrace in Edinburgh. So I cut it and I made up. You've come in now because I thought, I wonder if Cassius will see this. I don't know if your story involves the store in your thumbnail, but what the fuck did they expect naming a store Gobble and Go? Call them and they will come. No, Lady Witch, it's called Gobble and, like, and Go. And the reason we're laughing about it is that the reason I put that up, it's been a long-standing thing that I've been discussing with Cassius, because that shop was in Edinburgh, and that photograph was, I've cut me and my friend off, but we're on that photograph, and the reason I took it is that over here in the UK, there are two other words that we use for a blowjob. One of them's called a gobble, believe it or not, and one of them's called a nosh. So you say if you're giving your boyfriend a nosh, or you know, do you fancy a gobble? Basically, that's what it is. So the shop, it was a sandwich shop, like a food shop, but they called it Gobble and Go, which we thought was hilarious, because it's more like the name of yeah, a brothel or something, you know. So that's basically why I took that photograph. So yeah, it's not Gobble and Go, it's Gobble and Go. But apparently it's not there anymore. So I sent Cassis on a wild goose chase 3 or 4 months ago. He was going to go down to Johnson Terrace and film himself outside Gobble and Go just for me. And it was closed. He got stuck in traffic. It was like 20 minutes to get across town, and which is a long time over here. I know it's nothing in America, but yeah. Oh, but he got some good footage. That's the main thing. Over here we have a come and go store. Yeah. Well, that's Gobble and Go. Yeah. So yeah, what they should have had, we should have had a chain of them, shouldn't we? Like Gobble and Go, or Nosh and Dash or something. So yeah, sorry, I just got a bit distracted there. So yes, Cassius, when you have a look at the thumbnail, you'll see there it is, the photograph. So the guys at the castle were like, "Where the fuck are you going?" I drove straight up there to the gates, fucking halt. I'm gonna say you'd have had soldiers coming at you with the bayonets out, eh? The thing is, though, the back of the castle where Johnson Terrace is, you, you don't realise, do you? It looks like a continuation of the lane, but you're actually going up into the back of the castle. Sorry, I shouldn't wait until you finish your story. No, don't behave yourself, Cassis. It's fine. I'd literally only just started. We were having a giggle last night about it, because I said, "Well, how much I'm a citizen? It's my castle." We have a chip here called for Cardinals. Oh, good grief. So this yeah, but what we were laughing about, Cassis, is that it's not just the true crime lot that is getting in on the drama, because even, you know, me Dogmen stories, there's even drama going on in the Dogman community. And then Bedtime Clown came up last night and he went, it's not just that, it's going on in the knitting community as well. And we were all laughing, because I thought, I didn't know what was funnier, the fact that there's a knitting community that are having drama, or the fact that Bedtime Clown was watching videos in the knitting community. But anyway, I'm not going to judge. So I'm going to crack on with this little story, and then we can get back to having a bit of a chit chat. Yeah, I know, Cassius, when he said knitting, I was like, what the fuck? What? Now, so this death, and it's really tragic, this death occurred in February of 2020, and it's in Kentucky, and it involved a young boy. Now, I'll just give a little bit of background on the drama side of things before I crack into the story, is because, as usual, with these mysterious animal-related deaths, and all you have to do is look, if you just do a search on animal, you know, animals that have been responsible for human deaths, or unexplained animal-related deaths in Kentucky, there are a lot, and this is another one in Kentucky. So what's happened is this young lad died 2 years ago, and since then there has been nothing but either false flagging, misinformation, just it's weird. It's the usual kind of disinformation that's going on, and what's happened is there are two different creators within the cryptid community, and you know, I respect both of them, one more than the other. I'm not going to say which one because, you know, now one of the creators has got a, inverted commas, person on the inside who apparently knows the family of the deceased boy, is friends with the sheriff, is friends with the EMT who was there at the time, is friends with, you know, Uncle John, Tom Cobley and all, knows them all, grew up with them all, was at school with the parents. People live, you know, they live just a stone's throw down the road from this guy. And he's debunking a lot of what's being said. The other creator has actually got witnesses in the local community who are saying, no, you know, there have been howls heard for months. There's been, you know, dogs going missing, there's this, that, and the other. So these two now have got a bit of a war going on YouTube. So they're both making uploads about each other, but at the same time, they're not naming each other. So they're like, I'm not going to name this other creator, but, and you know exactly who they're talking about because it's not a big community. So it's not like, say, true crime, where, you know, you'd have a few main players, but there are a few thousand people who, you know, have smaller channels but did upload and whatnot. It's not like that. The cryptid community is pretty small in comparison, so everybody knows everybody else. So yeah, it's been quite funny watching it, thinking, my God, it's not just true crime. Everybody's having a piece. So basically, what happened is this. Now I'm going to tell the story, the version that I believe. It's up to you guys. If anybody wants to do a bit of research and go and look at other variations to the story, that's absolutely fine. But having listened to a few different versions, having looked at the news reports, listened to what the sheriff had to say, gone on some different podcasts, I have decided which I believe to be the version. So that's what I'm going to deliver to you guys. So this young lad, he was 13 years old, and his name was Corey Godsey. Paula, hello, lovely. You're just in time. I have literally just given the name of the case I'm going to cover tonight. It's lovely to see you. Hope everything's all right. There's always an insider in the best dramas. There is, Frida, and I'll be honest with you. The creator who didn't have the insider has kind of ripped it apart a bit, you know, saying, don't matter if this guy's saying that he's an insider, it doesn't matter. I don't believe him because I've got witnesses telling me differently. you know, and good for him. Oh yeah, Cassius is agreeing there. Yeah, there's always a bloody insider that knows that. I mean, all you have to do is look at shitload, don't you? How many insiders did he have? I'm not saying that this guy's a fake, however. So, let me just find my notes again because I looked up and turned my page and lost them. Right. So this happened in a place called Knott, which is a Knott, Knott County in Kentucky. And it happened in February 2020. Now, they basically, shitload is pickled in cider. It's pickled in shit, said. Useless feck of a man. Now, there are a few weird things about this. I've heard two different versions. One that this young lad, and even though he's 13, he only looks like a little boy. I think he had a few learning difficulties as well. But he looks younger than he was, and he looks smaller than he was. So two versions I've heard. Of these two, I've still not decided which I'm going with. One is that he was taken from the backyard. The other is that it was taken from the back of the house, like from indoors. So, for the sake of argument, let's just go with from the backyard near the house. Okay, we'll compromise and do that. So, he vanished from there. When they realised that he was missing, a search was undertaken, and he was actually found. I'm just gonna have to pause for a second here because I'm kind of shaking my head at it. It's the 911 call was made because when they'd gone out to, anyone can say they're an insider. They can, Frida, they can, absolutely. This young boy had been dragged from the property up the back. There's a mountain at the back, and it's a very steep incline. So it'd been dragged. Had been dragged up the mountainside behind the house, and the first responders, when they got there, he appeared to be fatally injured. So he was then pronounced dead from suspected injuries associated with an animal attack. Now, initially, when the autopsy was done, so the cause of death was initially determined to be from injuries consistent with an animal attack, although a specific animal identification was not determined. Okay, so just sit on that at the moment. Now, straight away, people started to discuss this because nobody mentioned packs of wild dogs initially. Nobody. And that seems to be the go-to at the moment with some of these attacks, especially when they can't determine what happened. Then all of a sudden it'll be there was a pack of wild dogs, but we've killed him, we've sorted him out, and what have you. All done and dusted. Now, before anybody could look into this further, Apparently, some from I don't know if it's the forest rangers, fish and game, whoever they are. I'm really sorry, I don't know what they call them over in America. They went out with animal control and rounded up a load of wild dogs and then took them all to the pounds and euthanized them all. Then they're saying, right, we've found the dogs responsible. This child was killed by a pack of wild dogs, and we've got them all, and they've now been eliminated. But then there's an announcement about people remaining vigilant, and especially at night, especially watching their children, and because of whatever potential threat was in the area. But I thought it had been eliminated because they've rounded up all these wild dogs and put them to sleep. Okay, so that's another little anomaly. Okay. Now, I'll tell you a little bit more. Now, this was, where's that statement I got from? Okay, so the Kentucky State Police. Okay, so this is what they announced, right? With the result of what happened to this child yesterday, so this is back in the February 2020, that's as bad as it can get, commented Jody Sims of the Kentucky State Police. Their initial determination was this was caused by injuries consistent with an animal attack. However, at this point, there is no way we can determine what the animal was. There are still questions as to what animal it may have been. Now, anybody who owns dogs, has worked around dogs, knows anything about dogs, what are your initial... I'll just throw this out to you before I open my trap. What are your thoughts about a pack of wild dogs being responsible for this attack on this child? Do you think that taking a child and dragging it up a mountainside is consistent with an attack by a pack of wild dogs? So now, a pack wouldn't or couldn't drag them up the mountain. That's it, Sid. Because a pack, well, you know yourself that, yes, simples, yeah, dogs wind each other up, don't they? You see that yourselves with dogs that just get in a bit of a scrap, and there'll be a couple of dogs that are friends, and another dog gets in, and it starts off a bit of a bit of a tiff, and then the two dogs that are friends just go all out raj, don't they? Yeah, yes, Lady Witch. I'll tell you why I will call it bullshit as well. Sorry, I'll just carry on here. It's possible but unlikely. I know, Paula, and that's the thing, there weren't like shreds of clothes lying everywhere. You would think, maybe if a big dog was kind of the lead and decided to drag away the prey, there'd be other dogs maybe grabbing an arm or a leg trying to rag it back in the other direction, because they do. Like with I feel awful because we're talking about a child here, but it's like a tug toy, isn't it, with a dog? Yeah, Sid, they turn up on the scene. There would have been other smaller attacks, i.e. pets, livestock, etc. Right, now, I was going to say, was it just grab the first wild dogs and it's done? Yeah, Yeah, Cassius. And get this. Right, where's this statement? Now, this is after, okay, so bear in mind, they have apparently been out, rounded all these wild dogs up that were responsible for killing this kid and have put them all to sleep, right? So there's nothing for you to worry about now. We found those animals responsible, they've been dealt with. And then this is released. Something happened in this community in Emmelina in Knott County. We urge people to be very cognizant of their surroundings. Be careful about the things you have around your home. Be careful of any type of potential food source for a wild animal. Secure those in garbage cans, containers, whatever you have to do, or not even put them out. It's a really difficult thing to go through, you know, part of being a professional in law enforcement or as a first responder, you got to take care of business first, and you kind of got to deal with that yourself too to some degree. But obviously the biggest focus has to be on this family at this time. Now there are this is worth knowing. So when we were talking about other animal attacks going on in Kentucky, Knott County is in eastern Kentucky. It's like the is it Appalachians or Appalachians? Um, do you remember I was talking about another attack in Kentucky, a place called Monroe County, and that's about 200 miles away. Oh, okay, Paul, I have to hit the sack early start. We'll be listening on my phone in bed. Oh, thanks for popping in, sweetheart. It's lovely to see you as always. You take care and we'll catch you on the next one. So it seems like a long way at first count, okay? So you've got Monroe County, we covered those attacks there. 200 miles further on, you've then got Knott County. Knott County is in eastern Kentucky, okay? The Louisville area, so Louisville, Kentucky, where some of the other attacks took place, is around 50 miles north of Monroe County. There seems to be a concentration of these weird, inexplicable, or unexplained animal canine-like attacks in Kentucky. There's also, has anybody heard of Barilla? Which they also call, it's got a couple of other names as well. Barilla, or the Kentucky werewolf, or the hillbilly beast, or the Kentucky hellhound. There's an awful lot of weird things relating to cryptid canines in Kentucky. Now, this when sorry, I've got to get my train of thought back before I go off onto all these other things that are in Kentucky. When Kentucky Fried Chicken, oh, don't said I could murder a KFC. Boneless banquet. So, as I said initially, so there was all of this. It's wild dogs because I think up in the mountain sides as well, there were like, there's lots of open, the open mining and things. So they're reckoning there were places for these dogs to hide, and so yeah, so you know the animal control went out, rounded them all up, da, 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 allegedly, da 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 da. Right. Also, prior to this, one of the creators I was discussing earlier has got witnesses who live in the area saying that for, you know, the longest time in the run up to this death and since, they are hearing strange howls, growls, what have you. There are pets going missing, chickens and things, you know. But it's mainly this screaming, awful, blood-curdling howling that they're hearing. Now, the other guy who got the insider, and I listened to this insider talking, and he's saying, no, you know, all this where people are saying that there've been howls heard. Not true. Isn't true. None of it's true. The story that about the all the dogs being rounded up, taken to the pounds, and euthanized is saying that's rubbish. There weren't any dogs rounded up. There were no wild dogs running loose. In the next breath, he's then saying, he's talking about something different, and he starts talking about people in that area of Kentucky, and he said, you know, yeah, nobody leashes dogs round here. All your dogs, you know, everybody's dogs just like wander off together, and you know, they take themselves off for walks. They're wandering through the woods, da da da. So this is a guy who a couple of seconds earlier has been saying that there aren't any packs of wild dogs roaming around. And you know yourself, when dogs are loose, they pack up. They do. They automatically. It's just part of their nature. You know, it's exactly the same as horses. You know, you turn half a dozen horses that don't know each other loose in a field. It doesn't matter whether they're domesticated or not. They will revert back to wild behaviour, and they will start acting, you know, with herd mentality. It's the same with dogs. You know, yeah, they're not all killers. You know, you'll have a little Cavalier King Charles Spaniel isn't going to react in the same way that potentially a Belgian or German Shepherd would in a pack, but it's still going to have that pack mentality, as in sticking with its buddies. So that's that bit. You've then got the sheriff had initially advised everybody that this this death had been attributed, it was an animal attack of unknown origin. Then he'd said that, oh gosh, I think you're on a bit of a delay there, Frida, tonight, aren't you, chicken? Just in case you wanted to refresh your screen or not. So he's giving all this out, you know, that it's this unknown animal, and you want to be careful and blah blah blah. Then apparently, as usually happens in these cases, there is a government element arrives out on site. Now, as we've heard before from the gentleman who is an ex CIA man, who had said that he, you know, that the, you know, and people say that when you get these missing, you get the murders or the deaths, these strange, inexplicable deaths or murders or disappearances. And people say, oh, the FBI turned up, and he said, it's not FBI, it's CIA. There is a specific, it's a CIA that deal with dogmen, and they outsource. Heard CIA head spun round. Well, the thing is, though, Cassius, it's you know, apparently they've got a finger in a few pies, and they outsource this work. There is a this particular, they look a bit like a paramilitary branch that don't wear any they're unidentifiable. They don't wear any insignia, they don't have dog tags, they have nothing. Bit like the proverbial Men in Black, I suppose. But apparently they rocked up as well again. And after they'd rocked up, then the press release that had come from the sheriff was retracted. Then another one was put out straight away again, saying that this was actually a dog attack. The DNA, once again, doesn't match up with that. It is of canine origin, but it's not full-on canine. Make of that what you will. Now, what I think has got a lot of people twitching is the fact that it is, once again, it's Kentucky. I mean, do you remember the, the school teacher who was basically torn apart in broad daylight in the road? We've got the, the two people who died, well, not on the same day, but, I think it was 3 or 4 months apart, wasn't it? But in the exact same area. Again, trying to put that down to wild dog attacks or to dogs that were not under control, and tried to pass the blame off onto a local man. It's, yeah, there's a lot of very weird stuff going on in that area. Well, not just that area, in Kentucky in general. Not just Kentucky either. And the other thing as well is that what I wondered, if they can't make a determination on which particular or certain animal caused the death, hasn't the medical examiner got... Oh, hang on. Bye. Sorry, just saying bye-bye to Pork Chop.
Bye, everybody.
He's going to work. See you in the morning, babe.
Yeah, have a nice night.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, hasn't the medical examiner got the ability to then consult with other experts? Never heard of this mentioned, but I heard it mentioned. That makes sense. I get you now. Oh, Simple shouts bye.
Aye. Say again.
So Simple's makeup. We've got a bit of a delay on here, but Simple's has just shout bye, Porky.
Bye,
You'll probably have walked out and everyone will be saying goodbye. Oh, and Cassie shouts bye, mate. Oh, he's just gone out the gate. You've missed him, but I shall let him know. Bless him. He fell asleep this morning when he came back off nights. He fell asleep with, he was listening to my live from last night. I was downstairs and I thought, why can I hear my voice? So bless him, he was listening to me while he was trying to drop to sleep. You see, and what's happened as well, which I find, kiss on me, I'm trying, I'm knackered, pal. Oh, bless you. You just chill out, Cassius. Don't you worry, lovey. Just chill out and have a listen. The other strange thing is, why would the medical examiner, if anybody can come up with a suggestion for this, why would a medical examiner, now this is what they've put down as the cause of death, why would they leave the cause of death to read something like death caused by an attack from some kind of canine? It's canine or it's not. some kind of canine. You know, there's leaving your options open, isn't there? And then there's leaving your options open. Now, and also, wouldn't you? Oh, there's a lot of weirdness in the Appalachians. Whatever you do, don't go out alone and never ever whistle. Just saying. Oh, what's with the whistle? Because has the whistle got anything to do with Bigfoot, Lady Witch? Now, wouldn't it's just another little thing I'm going to throw out now as well. Wouldn't you or oh gosh, sorry, do you know, I've just stood up and nearly gone arse over tit, and the dog has dragged one of the pillows near the door. Don't know why, off the sofa. They can judge canine from the teeth marks. Bigfoot's been known to whistle. Yeah, that's why I was just asking then, Sid, if it was because of Bigfoot. So this is the other thing, right? Wouldn't a definite labelling of what kind of animal was responsible for killing, well, this child in this instance, wouldn't that have been, you know, expected, if not demanded, by the police and maybe park rangers, animal control, whoever, so that they could hunt down whatever animal did this, so that it was no longer a threat? Surely you can't just leave it open-ended. I mean, and Kentucky, I'm guessing there aren't any wolves in Kentucky. I don't know, so if I stand, you know, to be corrected if anybody can enlighten me on that. But I would, you know, I'm guessing that the only recognised canines in Kentucky are going to either be domesticated dogs or coyotes. So if the medical examiner can't determine which, and of course you can, because of the teeth, the spacing, and the shape of jaws, and also jaw pressure. You know, you can tell what kind of pressure's been exerted on a wound. So I'm sorry, but I don't see how the medical examiner cannot say it was a dog or a coyote. Or let's, for the sake of argument, there might be a little group of secret wolves living in Kentucky. Or he couldn't say Kentucky. A wolf pack wouldn't drag a prey. No, they wouldn't, and they definitely wouldn't drag it up a damn mountain. And it was up a mountain, Sid. I saw a documentary years ago. They couldn't identify this animal. They thought it was a breed between them. What was that, like a dog crossed with something, Cassius, or just different kind of animal altogether? I mean, oh, coyote and a dog. Ah, right, okay. But even so, you know, there would be similarities, wouldn't there, between the, you know, the dog jaw and the coyote jaw, and also with DNA testing, because don't forget the DNA testing the wounds on these people. This is where they're coming up with this, right? It's not actually canine, or, you know, we've got a trace. There's a bit of mitochondrial DNA that suggests canine, but we don't know what the rest of it is. You know, you can do DNA testing even down to the breed of dog. I don't know if you were all here when I was talking about my friend's dog, that weird little thing. And well, it's not a friend, but you know, and it was a Jack Russell crossed with a German Shepherd. And she had the DNA testing done on that dog. So, you know, providing it's one of the many, many, many breeds of dogs that are in the database, they can tell that. And there are attempts to bring wolves back to Kentucky. Maybe they are successful, but DNA would show that. It would show that, Lady Witch. It would. And yes, Frida, forensics should know. They're so advanced nowadays. They are. And it's always when they're asked about the DNA results, it becomes very shady. The answers become a little bit ambiguous, and you know, and the problem is, because of this happening, it's also started off, which I think is incredibly unfair. It's also started up because, of all things, if this is what's happened, then there would be, as we know, there is absolutely no doubt whatsoever that the medical examiner would have been able to identify this. But one of the things now that is being said, and I feel so bad for the family, is that yeah, all of this shit that's being said, blah 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 blah, it's because the family have like a pit bull. They don't, but this is what's getting said. The family had this pit bull that was really vicious. It's killed the lad, so they've dragged his body up the hill. They've got a shot of the dog, and they're trying to cover their own tracks. And this is because now they're saying, well, we can't identify what it was. Well, no, they could identify. If it was a pit bull, if that scenario was even remotely true, and whoever came up with it, you're a knobhead, absolute knobhead, and God forbid that anything like that ever happened to one of your children, you absolute shitbag. Why would parents be covering up for a child? You know, saying the parents didn't give a shit about the kid. You fucking idiot. You know, I'm not saying there aren't people who don't care about the children, but this isn't one of those. This is something else. All right. This is, look at the number in the last, how many years did we cover from? Was it going back to the late 80s? The number of attacks that have occurred in Kentucky, unidentified dog-like creatures, all of the sightings. And like I was saying then, we've also got Barilla, you've got the Kentucky werewolf, the hillbilly beast. These are all dogman type animals that all throughout that state. I think it's because science has not officially acknowledged that these things exist. They will only say it might be possible. So a scientist is pretty limited with what they can say. Well, here's another thing. We're going off the dogman thing now, but you all know that I'm a massive fan of David Paulides. Yeah, with the Missing 411. Anybody who doesn't know, he covers he's got a really good channel on here called Can I'm Missing? He covers the missing people in the national parks in America. He's former law enforcement. He knows what he's talking about. And he is also involved in trying to prove that Bigfoot exists. This is something he does aside from his Missing 411 work. David Paulides and the people that he works with as part of this Bigfoot investigative team, they found DNA, okay? They found some evidence that could be DNA tested. They could not find a single laboratory who would test it for them when they explained what it was. They finally found a scientist, and it's a lady, and she agreed to do this testing for them. and has proven that this is a new type of hominid. You want to look it up. The fight that he's having to go through now, because she is, and this woman is, you know, she's right up there in her field of expertise, incredibly well thought of. Not anymore, because she's put her name to Bigfoot. Everything that he's doing, it's being suppressed. They don't want it releasing. And I think it was, I might be wrong on this, and somebody please correct me if I am, but I did hear on another channel, like I said, this is something I haven't verified, so I stand to be corrected, but that whichever state it was that has made it illegal to kill a Bigfoot was kind of floating along on the back of them hearing of David Paulides' group actually finding irrefutable evidence, DNA evidence of the existence of a new, previously unidentified hominid in North America. Yes, they like to have explanation that they don't have for this. What is a hominid? Said hominid, like a humanoid type, a human type figure. So, you know, like Lucy. Do you remember Lucy, what they reckon was the first human, but she was like the tiny little hobbit, like monkey-ish looking thing in Africa? She's a hominid. Or Neanderthals were hominids of a certain type. So yeah. Lady Witch, that is nuts. I would be testing the hell out of it. Bigfoot or not, the discovery of a new species is amazing. But why do they not want to admit that Bigfoot exists? I don't understand the reluctance to admit it. It surely has gone past the point of not wanting to lose face anymore, because it's gone on for so many decades now. I mean, not just decades, is it? I suppose, you know, there are stories of this going back a couple of 100 years that have been documented. You go back to the Native Americans, and I can't remember exactly where they were. We were talking about it with Jo Mardre when she was on here. They've got some of the weaving, you know, the grass weaving that they do. There were pots and blankets, and there are like ape-like figures that are woven into these artifacts. Native American Indians should not have known what a monkey looked like, because there were no monkeys native to North America unless it was a Bigfoot. Yeah, you're probably right, Sid. You'd have people out hunting it. But there are people out hunting it now anyway. I just suppose if they actually, you know, did confirm it. I mean, look at the mountain gorilla. They didn't think the mountain gorilla existed. They didn't think the giant panda existed. The more they deny, the more suspicious. Yes, I agree. Yeah. But so I can kind of, so the Bigfoot thing aside, and that was just as a, you know, as an example as to, you know, what they do to suppress evidence, and the fact that science do not always want an answer. But I don't understand why they're doing it with the dogmen, because, yeah, I know not all Bigfoot are the benevolent kind of vegetarian forest dwelling creatures. You know, there are different types and they have different temperaments. Dogmen are a different kettle of fish altogether. So what, I don't know, what do you think? Why Do you think it would just be a case of not wanting the public to panic if they admitted that these things are out there? Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Because I can't understand. I'm sorry, but hearing some of these horrendous stories that have gone on, you know, we talked about Brandon's story. Do you remember the very first one I covered? That damn thing that got in his house, the fact that he ended up, he's had to move away from his family home. He cannot stay there anymore because of the dog men coming in. You know, just to protect him, his wife, and his baby, he's had to move. He's just had to go. You know, stories like that, you hear how horrendous. Then you've got the land between the lakes, that murder that occurred there. You know, that whole family. There's the witnesses come forward who was actually there. They were a member of that party and managed to escape. These things are really, really bad news. So I don't understand why they're not wanting to warn people. Yeah, there's such a thing as causing a panic, but there's also actually having people prepared. You know, don't go wandering off into the wilds here. Is it just about the revenue that they're wanting to come in? Because that's what they reckoned it was with Land Between the Lakes. They just did not want anybody knowing about these things because it would have stopped people going out to that recreational area, bringing the revenue into the local towns. Let's have a look, Lady Witch. Personally, I think they already know and are trying to figure out how to weaponise them. Squelch the truth of the military. Oh, dogmen. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, but imagine these dickhead trophy hunters wanted to be the first to bag a Bigfoot. They wouldn't waste their time looking for a mythical creature. Yeah, that is my conspiracy theory, of course. First thing I'm thinking is the government's doing some dodgy shit on people. Well, and here's another thing, Cassius, and it will actually link in with what Lady Witch has just said then about weaponising. Did anybody, you probably didn't because it's me that's giving you all this weird shit to look up. Did anybody ever come across the story? It was online for quite a while. I've not found it. I've not come across it in a long time. But it was apparently a hybridization experiment that had occurred in Holland. And there were two of these experimental creatures made, and they were human hybrids. One was a nice, placid, lovely creature, and the other one wasn't. And I suppose it's like anything, you know, if you're making a hybrid of anything, it's going to go one of two ways, isn't it? Now, the one that was, and I can't remember if they said they crossed it with a gorilla. And gorillas are, you know, they're not like chimpanzees. Chimpanzees scare the shit out of me. I find gorillas really placid, and, you know, like I always think about Coco, you know, and then with monkeys, chimpanzees, I think about kind of Travis, the rippy, facey, terry, offy monkey. And I'm sure that the placidy nice one was crossed, like human cross gorilla. I don't know, whatever else might have been involved, but that was quite a peaceable, very large, but a very peaceable creature. The other one that was human chimpanzee hybrid was not. It was, yeah, fucking horrible, basically. And again, this was apparently some form of NATO experiment for some sort of fighting force. I always thought they didn't. No, I don't think they stopped at Dolly the sheep, Cassius. I think Dolly the sheep, now, you know, please tell me I'm wrong. I don't mind, because I like my conspiracy theories as much as the next person. But I don't think Dolly the sheep was a success, was the first success at that point. I think they decided they've already gone past Dolly the sheep. They went past Dolly the sheep, leaps and bounds, and then once they got to a stage where they have probably been able to clone a human being, they've probably, whatever, plus DNA splicing of different types of creatures, and being successful with that. They can't release that because that's going to scare the shit out of everybody. What shall we do? Right, let's make Dolly quick and say, look what we've been able to do. And that'll distract everyone. And everyone goes, wow, you've cloned a sheep. Well, yeah, we've cloned a sheep. However, by now we've already moved on. We've been cloning people for years, but you don't know about that. We've also worked out, it's like with the Jurassic Park, it's not outside the realms of possibility to bring dinosaurs. They're looking at the moment about bringing back the Tasmanian devil. Now, I know that is only a recently extinct creature. It was 1930 or 30s that became extinct. So I'm not against bringing back, if you can recreate a creature like that, if you can bring them back, do a bit of the old Jurassic Park jiggery pokery on them, because this is the time that they should be living in. Bringing back dinosaurs and shit, not so much. Chimps are sweet but insane. I'm really scared of chimps, Lady Witch. I just don't. I really don't like them. I think it's just I don't know. What about a chimera? Well, wasn't there a program, Frida? Oh, with Charles Dance in it. Wasn't that called Chimera? Or have I imagined that? I can see them going in all different directions with the next stage. What do you think's the next stage there then, Cassius? What can we expect? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I wondered if and it's because of some of the things that you hear about with the dogmen, where people say that the dogman's just had a full-on conversation with you in its head, or they've been able to manipulate your feelings, or they appear to cloak. You try and take a photograph of them, but it comes out blank or what have you. So I've often wondered, because we have all the whole UFO thing that everybody's going on about as well, that I know we like and we're interested in over here. And sometimes I thought, could these dogmen things be maybe an alien life form? Which is why the government really are not, well, whichever government it may be, really do not want people knowing what they are. That they have a special branch of the government that deals with these, they solely deal with this type of complaint. If somebody's having issues with them, they sent, like Brandon, they sent out a whole unit to his home to get rid of this potential threat. And I thought, is this because they've made contact? They have said, right, okay, you can live or you can inhabit here, or have no choice whatsoever, but they are aware that these alien life forms are living on Earth in certain areas and being kept tabs on by the government. which would also then, if you remember the last live we did about this, would make sense with this whole, there is a tagging program going on where they're tagging the dog men. Oh, thanks, Frida. I thought I'd heard, because didn't it turn out, wasn't it Charles Dance's kid was the actual monkey cross thing? I think. So yeah, that's just my thought on dogmen. But I thought, you know, could they be kind of alien life form? Because you never know. Aliens don't all have to look like Paul or Predator. I'd be confused by a chimera. What head am I supposed to look at? Yeah. No, they don't, Sid. They definitely don't sound like they could fly a spacecraft. However, they could quite easily walk through a portal from another dimension. Wormholes, stargates. We can go down the whole rigmarole if we want to, just for the hell of it, because we can. Just going to say, it doesn't necessarily mean I believe all of this, but I just like throwing things out there for a wee bit discussion. But, you know, they do say that they are quite dexterous, though, Sid. And I do think there are these different types, aren't there? So you've got your dogmen and you've got your types 1, 2, 3, and 4. And some of these aren't, you know, they're not dogmen. They are actually, apparently, werewolves. My bed knob is looking back at me with alien eyes. Well, you see, I wondered as well, though, Sid, if that's the same with Bigfoot. You know, are they nipping in and out through portals or wormholes or stargates or whatever? Hi, Joe. Oh, we were talking about you 5 minutes, or rather, I was talking about you 5 minutes ago. How are you, my love? So I am going to just bouncing back again. Oh, hang on. It says, I wish I could take a photo. I said, yeah, it's got to be. Of the alien. Oh, gosh, no. It's got to be a possibility. Well, you know, I'm not that arrogant that I'm going to say it's impossible because I don't know. I'm not an astrophysicist. I can't tell you what is or isn't possible. And the thing is, nothing's impossible, is it? In that kind of realm of possibility. Good, sitting in the sunshine. Excellent. Heard that phrase the other day. Dogman were watching the drama on YouTube. I get you now. Yeah. Yeah. Honest to God, though, Cassius. Excuse me. It's drama's going off everywhere, but with this dogman stuff, I don't know. It's got me tied up in a few little knots all over the place, and it's causing, this one case is causing that much shit between creators going off on each other, and you shouldn't be doing. And I think it started. I think it was Sour Grapes. I think the creator that had, this is only my opinion because I like both creators. I think that the creator who has the insider I think they got the arsehole because the other creator, who didn't know there was an insider on this other channel, had done a lot of research and put their thoughts out about this particular case and the fact that, you know, it's 2 years on. I'm not satisfied with the explanation. This child needs, you know, the family needs some answers. There are sounds going on all over the place. There have been a, you know, a certain level of involvement with the CIA and the paramilitary branch that deal with this type of incidents. It's yet another incident going on in Kentucky. It's another undetermined canine-esque attack. The family needs some answers. They need some closure. He's come out with all of this. The other guy who's got the inside then gets the arsehole because, unbeknownst to him, this has then been released. He hasn't got the jump on. So he then has his insider and they're debunking the other fella, who then gets the arsehole back and puts another live. And it's just going on and on and on and on and on. Try and bend over backwards and bite your ass if you think it's impossible. I get you, Sid. I get you. Been watching crazy drama and cryptids. Oh, hey, Joe, have you been watching the crazy drama in the cryptid community? It's even hit us there as well. Or they are in it together, knowing they can create drama. And do you know what, Simples? I don't think they are. I really don't think they are, because they're not naming each other. And these channels, you know, one is considerably bigger than the other one. And one of them, how do I put this? Because one of them is a very thorough investigator. The other one is a pretty good investigator, but more for the showmanship. So they do come at it from different angles. One of them is definitely monetized. I'm not sure if the other one is. I'll have to look that one up. But it's just a shame. It is just a shame because it's detracting from, you know, from what's going on with this poor little lad, or what's gone on with this poor little lad. Don't tell shitloader who will be putting his cryptid pants on and going hunting. Oh, Sid, really? One of the creators made a kind of apology today, if I've got the right drama. Right, is it... Well, there are two channels. One of them is a father and daughter. And the other one is a guy called Jeffrey Nadolny. Okay, so I'm still wondering how you can have drama on a knitting channel. Stealing patterns, yeah. The right drama. Is it Jeff Summer? Yes, yeah. Oh, so he's made an apology, has he? Lady Witch, I think we should use Shitlord as bait to lure in a dogman. Right. Okay, Sid. Well, Jeff's the guy who's the more, like I was saying, is more of a showman. He's the one who brought in the insider. So I don't know. Have you listened to the other guy? Because I actually, well, I may as well say it now because it's out there. The other guy, I prefer him. As far as investigative techniques go, I prefer him. In fact, give me a second, because you know what, guys? I'm going to give you the links. They wouldn't bother with them as there's nothing to tune into his head. Can we have a Dogman Insider? Right. Do you know what? I reckon I think we should nominate Sid as our Dogman Insider, because he's just brought a little bit of inside gossip to the table. You know, even I wasn't aware of that, and I'm the Dogman person. So I'm going to nominate tonight Sid Vicious is our secret Dogman Insider. Yeah, simple to make, actually, the Doberman Insider. Doberman arse. Oh, dear me. Right, because I like to let you know about these guys, and I think they are they're well worth watching. Let me just find the other guy. Right. The other channel is a channel called Abnormal Investigations. So let me just have a little look. He's actually looking at that. I think there definitely must have been some form of a truce call there, Sid, because he's taken his down. Oh. I'm just going to check this out, because he'd done like a clap back. Yeah, it's gone. There must have been a truce drawn. Now, I'm going to send you that, because this is covering, do you remember all those different cases that we covered? So we had like Brenda Hamilton and Dr. Oh gosh, what was her name? The first one, it is Dogman Encounters with Jeffrey Nadolny. And the one that I prefer is called Abnormal Investigations. I'm just going to put it up now for you. Let me just share. Let me share this link. Copy the link. Right, there's the, and I like his investigative techniques. I like the way he talks, and he does it with his daughter. Sorry, that sounded really wrong then. Investigations, dears, investigations. And let me find the other one that we were talking about. Dun, 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 dun. This is the bigger channel. So as I said, they're both you know, they're both worth a following. They're both good channels. But yeah, they've been having a little bit of drama there. Let me go back through the chat. Only heard about Dogmen a few weeks ago on here and I'm hooked. It's brilliant though, isn't it, Sid? I love it. You can also, if you've got an Alexa, you can listen to Dogmen Encounters radio episodes on there, you know, with Vic Cundiff. He's my favourite. I love Vic. And I love Marvin. Marvin Allen is just ace. Well, if you got nothing else from my channel, Sid, you've got Dogmen. There you go. I gave you Dogmen. And you're now our very own Dogman Insider. Let's have a look. Sid, Werewolf Coming. Remember that? Oh, I don't know. What's that song, Frida? Werewolf Coming. My Chihuahua Pomeranian named Grim really looks like a tiny dog man. Oh, Chihuahuas have the attitude. They absolutely do, Lady Witch. Like little people, though. Yeah, Lady Witch, you literally have the dogman attitude. Sid, thanks for that. Oh, I know, but it's I just find it really fascinating. There's also, I came across another one. Here's one for Cassius. Let me just post this one because you're going to be so impressed. Yeah, here it is. Don't bark, Cooper. Copy the link. Here we go. This is the special one for our Cassius. Dogmen in Scotland, Cassius. Said you might want to have a watch of that one as well. And obviously everybody else, but take away got. Oh, you can see me picture, can you? Gobble and go with Mars bars. Well, just looking what Joe said there, you know, it makes me feel dread and despair too, and you're laughing. But that's that whole thing with the dogmen, isn't it? They can alter your mood. They make you feel like they plunge it into the depths of despair. Scariest dogman story was where it was running at the side of his truck and I was pulling it. Oh, the one I told you, Sid, where they shot it and it was running alongside and it put its hand on the front of the Forerunner. Because that was one of the stories of if it's the same one, where he was in the Forerunner with his mate. They'd gone out because something was bothering the cattle and they thought it was they thought there were coyotes. They went out at night looking for them. It's not funny though. Yeah, they make you feel the dogman presence known with dread. Have you had any experience with them, Joe? See, that one in Scotland, I had a little watch of that the other night. See, I'm still unsure whatever it was that I saw up at Camastarrock those few years ago with my dad. Probably I listened the other day on Dogman Encounters. Ah, right, yeah. It was he's got, I think there are 3 parts. If it's the same one, the guy comes back and does 3 different parts of that. It's really good. The one, because I was telling the stories, it starts off with that. Then they're coming at the house, aren't they? one where his little girl, the baby was in bed and he sees the thing through the screen window on the baby monitor, went flying down, and then they got the sheriff contacted this military group that came out to get rid of it, and then they came back, and then it was in his cellar, and then the next time it was in his kitchen. Really, really frightening. I don't know how that fella could. I really don't. It doesn't even bear thinking about. Joe, I'm not sure. I thought I saw one in the far corner of my property. No! Far corner of my property, but it ran so fast and disappeared that I'm not sure if I really saw it or not. Oh my God, no! Joe, I think you did. I think you did. You felt dizzy while spotting as it charged off. Yeah. They have that ability, don't they? They can kind of, you've obviously seen it before it got a chance to cloak itself. Oh, shit. Oh, you've never told anyone? Oh my God, Joe. Well, thanks for telling us here, but shit, mate. I mean, not that I want to shit you up or anything, which I'm now obviously going to jump straight in with both feet and do, but how have you felt knowing that you possibly saw one on your property? How long ago was this, by the way? Was it recently? Was it a long time ago? I'd be too scared to go outside. But then again, you're in a better position, aren't you? Because there are things that you can do to protect yourself that obviously, us over here in Europe, we're just like, we haven't got a bleeding clue. But it's like Lady Witch's story, and I think it's like the way you've just told us like that. You've just told it so matter of factly. Because I always think when people sometimes, not all the time, because sometimes people, the fine details are ingrained because the experience was so traumatic for them that every little minute detail is etched into the brain. But by the same token, I also think that when somebody understates something, it just lends it that bit more credibility. You're not trying to sell us. You're not doing the hard sell on your story. It's this is what happened. Not sure. I might have seen it, but I'm not sure. Oh, it still freaks me out. It has since then. It was about 3 years ago. It felt strange for a while. Of course, I did my smudging and commanding to be gone. It feels better these days. Oh, well, I'm glad. I'm glad, Joe. And also, I mean, where you are as well, I mean, I don't know on your particular property, but you do hear that Bigfoot and dogmen don't like inhabiting the same area, and there are apparently a fair few Bigfoot in that area, aren't there? Through California, through the mountainous regions. So hopefully, you've got a family of Bigfoot nearby that will stop the. Let's hope it was just passing through. The fucker. I'm glad it's calming down for you, Joe. God, yeah, me too. Honestly, when I read that, it gave me the horrors. It just gave me the horrors because I've got such an overactive imagination. I don't think I'd be as scared of Bigfoot as a dog man. I don't know, Sid. Thanks for letting me get this out in a safe place. Yeah, the big redwood trees and river attract creatures. Oh, Joe, don't thank us in here. This is this is your channel, the same as it's our channel. You talk what you want. This is we're all friends in here. Nobody looks down at anybody or poo-poos anybody's experiences or what have you. It was I'm made up. You've said something. I'm lost for words because I don't even know what I would do if I saw one. I just don't know. I mean, all I can liken it to is that awful experience I had in Scotland. That even now, I try and go into detail about it and remember it and think back to how scared I was. I mean, it says something when you can run flat out and you can run so fast and be in such a terror that you hit the floor, you burst your face open, to the extent I needed stitches and didn't even realise. I bounced, hit the floor and was straight up again and running. It terrified me. It absolutely terrified me. And I didn't get a good look at whatever that was. You literally fainted. Oh my God, Joe. Oh, you know what? I think that sucked. I think that sucked the energy from you. For you to go like that. You see, when I've heard these stories before where people have said, they've had something to do, they've had an experience or they've seen or been in the vicinity of a dog man and they've had an overwhelming dizziness or they've fainted or what have you. And I've sometimes wondered, do you think it's possible that they've sucked the energy from you to either cloak themselves or maybe to jump into whichever dimension they've come from or are going into? So maybe that's what, they just need that extra drag of energy to jump out of this dimension. Because it's weird how they're there 1 minute and then they've gone. Well, let's hope it jumped through and it stayed there, Joe. Lady Witch, Joe, Kiss had asked me if I still feel the one I encountered or hear it. Sometimes I do. Always by the river here. Then I realise that this river goes straight through to Detroit. I think I feel him when we are both by the water. Ah, and water is, it's a well-known conduit of, not just of boats and fish and whatever else, but, of energy. Gosh. This is going to sound so weird because I'm actually really jealous of both of you. However, I'm not. I'm jealous that you've both had this. That's it, simple, flowing energy. I'm so jealous that you've both had the experience, but I'm glad it wasn't me, if that makes sense. I don't know if I could handle seeing something. I just would be too scared. Gosh. And do you think, are there any Bigfoot around you, Joe? Do you think? I live close to the river too. I still feel it, but not on my property. I'll go months without it coming to mind. It's weird. But again, that goes back to this feeling that once people have either seen one, had a run in with one, what have you, especially if I don't think it's if anyone can remind me, I think it's only when they've seen you and you've seen them. I don't think it's if you've seen the back, the arse end of one disappearing through a hedge. But I think when there's been a mutual connection, they've spotted you, you've spotted them. Apparently there's then a link, which is why I'd asked Lady Witch that night, did she still feel it, because of people saying once they've had a connection made with one of these creatures, that it's like a lifelong bond. It's always there, so that you may never see it again, but it's like it's something has just connected your brains or what have you. I don't know. But this is what people say. Sid, I think that's right, Kiss. Thank you. I love this topic. It's just endless, isn't it? But I can't believe we've got 2 people now in this channel who have had these experiences. Bigfoot has been seen here along this same river and up the forest. They recently at the dump. I've never seen them. Lots of deer, etc. by our Loch Lomond Reservoir. They are there. Well, that's probably why the dogman didn't stick around then, eh, Joe? And especially, now, are they the nice Bigfoots or the ones that we were, when we were talking about the other week, saying that there was some where there were a lot of Native American stories about the certain Bigfoot that would pinch women, and steal women away. Because I'm just wondering if it was the real evil Bigfoot, then definitely the dogman are not going to want to stick around, are they? Said, I heard a story where a bloke saw one and a voice in his head said, run out. Yes, I covered that one as well, Sid, and I don't think you were here that night. Yeah, yes. Don't know if you guys remember that one, telling that story about him. I think it's more the Bigfoot's territory. They don't bother people here. I think they're more used to humans. Oh, well, do you know that I take comfort in that, to be honest? It'll keep them buggers out, because I really wouldn't want a dog man knocking around anywhere. Sid, the problem is with them that they make these links, and it was like, do you remember when I was telling the story of Brandon, when he shot at the thing that was in his kitchen, and he said that, was it in his I can't remember where it was now, because it came in twice, didn't it? Once it was in his kitchen, and the other time it was in his in the basement. And he said whichever time it was, he was, oh no, it wasn't. It was when it was up in the hayloft. It was that time. He said as he came up, he spotted it there and he shot at it. He said, and as he shot at it and he hit it, he said he literally emptied the clip of his gun. And he said he was overcome with the most awful feeling of, he said it was absolute devastating sadness. It just like every bit of happiness had been sucked out of his soul. Like he had just, he'd got nothing to live for. He just felt like he'd betrayed his his own child. And he was looking at this thing and he said the sadness emanating out of it. And he just stood there and he didn't know what to do. And he said he just couldn't believe how he was feeling. And then the dog man jumped out through the window, through the moor, out of the barn, and left him. And he said that's when he knew. He thought, that's how they're doing it. The fucking bastards. That is how they do it. They're manipulative. It manipulated him into not firing at it anymore. it manipulated his feelings. And he said that's how he realized it was as evil as it was. He said how manipulative it was. The fact that it had the cognizance to do that. Who'd win a fight between a dog man and a Bigfoot? I don't know, Sid, because I'd like to think it would be Bigfoot, but I did listen to one of the stories on Bigfoot encounters, and there was a lady on there who there were a family of Bigfoot that had been in residence apparently for a long time, and dogmen moved into the area, and the Bigfoot were kind of chasing the dogmen away. I think from what she'd said that the Bigfoot were they'd taken on a bit of a protector role for her and her family, and then these dogmen were getting more and more aggressive, and in the end the Bigfoot just moved out and went and left. And because I think the dogmen have got, like you said, Bigfoot's stronger, but dogmen are more vicious. Would depend on the teeth. And I mean, I suppose if Bigfoot had chance to give it a driver, it could probably knock its head into the up the backside of beyond. But when you've got a creature that has got fingers with 3-4 inch razor sharp talons that with one swipe could disembowel you, then and they're a similar size height wise to Bigfoot apparently, so they may not have the bulk of Bigfoot, but for the size they're these dogmen are apparently solid muscle. I would think that dogmen were faster, more fleet of foot than and I know that Bigfoot are fast when they want to be, they can shift, but I think dogmen leap, don't they, as well? I think dogmen would have the advantage being smaller and smarter, but if Bigfoot could get his hands on it, it would be over in seconds. Yeah, Lady Witch, I think they'd pummel the shit out of him, but they'd obviously have to be away from the teeth and the talons and whatnot. I think if it was one-on-one, if it was, say, a pack of dogmen versus a group of Bigfoot, I probably would reckon that the dogmen would have the advantage. It would be better than MMA. I know, it'd be like celebrity deathmatch, wouldn't it? Oh, what's Joe said? Let's have a little look. Dogman scares me more. The force of energy whooshing towards me as it came towards me was incredibly strong. Oh, gosh. Oh, so it actually was running towards you. Shitbags, Joe. I'd obviously misread what you'd put. Friggin' hell. Oh God! And did you think it was actually coming to get you, or it was just the fact that it happened to be running in your direction? And do you think it had seen you? Frig. No, very, 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 very scary. There just seems to be a little bit of a delay, so I will stop prattling a minute while I'm waiting for Joe's answer. God, I can't believe this. I think Dogman is inherently evil, where Bigfoot will avoid human contact so as not to cause conflict. Yeah, I think there are anomalies in both species. I think that there are, but it's like people, isn't it? Occasionally, you're going to have a bad one, a wrong one. I think the same is for Bigfoot. You will, for the most part, have, like you say, creatures that don't really want anything to do with us. They don't want conflict. They will have it if they have to, but they don't really want it. But occasionally there'll be a wrong one. And just as I think with the Dogman, yeah, inherently evil, but there is a story of somebody who had found a Dogman pup and they raised it. And that actually wasn't evil. So again, that was an anomaly of its, but it was a one-off. So, oh yeah, what's Joe put? It was in the corner of the property as I opened my patio door, and I may have startled it. It whooshed. Oh, it whooshed at me, and I felt the whoosh, and it disappeared as I passed out. Fuck off. Oh my goodness. It was so freaking fast, it's hard to explain. Joe, honestly, I've got the frickies here. I have literally gone chicken skin. I bet they never took a photo of the pup. Well, I don't know, Sid. I don't know. I would have. But yeah. I don't even know if that question got asked, to be honest. Oh man, I cannot tell you how goosebumpy I've just got reading that Joe just put. Ugh. Now, I'm just going to find. I had some notes. Cooper, don't start. Don't. Oh, sorry, the dog's decided he wants to play werewolf. Stop. Cooper. Cooper, stop. Shitbags. Okay. Just going to read you oh, hang on. Think about it. You would even photograph a little Labrador pup. I'm dubious of that. Yeah. Oh, really, Joe? Oh. You see, sometimes he'll bark at certain things. Like when I say demon, he's not done it tonight, the arsehole. But it tends to be when I'm talking about dogmen and things, he kicks off. And I sometimes think, is it because I'm getting it can feel like then I was just getting the frickies because of what Joe had said, or maybe discussing the topic is kind of, I don't know, bringing a bit of a dogman vibe into the ether that he's becoming aware of. And the fact Joe said Grimm's barked as well. Yeah, dogman impersonation by Cooper. Right, I'm gonna read you a little piece that I've also got as well, and it's because we've been talking about Kentucky and you know, I mentioned the Kentucky werewolf. So I thought it would be quite interesting. And oh, Cooper, stop. Sorry about this. Cooper warding off the dog man. No, I think he's trying to ward off. The sounds like there's a pisshead walking down the street. Burning some sage and weed now. Yeah, get it burning and yeah. Cooper, enough now. I'm going to tell stories, so be quiet. Be quiet. So, as I was saying about Kentucky, it just seems to be all manner of like weird shit coming out of that state. And it's everything and anything, isn't it? It's going from Bigfoot to UFOs to strange entities to dogmen. And this particular article was saying some of the oddest sightings detailed terrifying run-ins with a creature or creatures that many people would consider only an aspect of legend and folklore until they see it stalking their own backyard in the middle of the night or keeping stride with their vehicle through long dark corridors on one of Kentucky's many forest-surrounded highways. Witnesses describe a tall, dark-furred creature that walks on two legs, possesses canine-like features, and glares at onlookers with glowing red eyes. It would seem as though there are as many names for those upright canines as there are areas through which their howls echo in Kentucky. In the 1600s, when French settlers came to Louisville, they brought with them tales of the rougarou, a bipedal dog-like creature with a tendency of violence towards those who witnessed it, only to find that a population of the creatures awaited them in their new home. Cherokee tribes in the area had their own stories of the limerikin, a word borrowed from northern tribes to describe an almost identical beast. In cryptozoological circles, they are most often referred to singularly as the dogman. Ultimately, however, the uncanny resemblance to what has become colloquially known as a werewolf cannot be denied. Now, it would be the latter of these monikers that would come to define a series of incidents involving the beasts in Waddy, Kentucky, dating back before the turn of the 20th century and on into modern day. Several Waddy residents have described hearing bone-chilling screams in the area over the years, and more than a few accounts of sightings of the creatures, sometimes accompanied by horrific animal mutilations, have come to light thanks to reports from witnesses and inquiries performed by local Kentucky investigators. Some of the most notable accounts occurred on Ditto Road in Waddy in the later months of 2012. Right, I'm coming up to this now. Oh, I'll just read chat. I've never heard of dogmen before you mention them, Kiss. Same as me, Frida. Yeah, sorry guys, I'm dragging you all into the whole dogmenship. I just find it fascinating. But yeah, let's get into some of these stories. So, on November the 28th, Teresa Parker found 5 of her pet goats slaughtered savagely in what appeared to be a sport killing by a large, unknown predator. These gruesome attacks would not be the end of the mutilations on Ditto Road. However, only a few weeks later, another anonymous farmer reported the killing of his own livestock. The local animal control director at the time, Rusty Newton, admitted to being mystified by what could have performed the series of killings, as he said they didn't seem to resemble any kind of animal attacks that he had ever seen. Now, concurrent with these incidences of animal mauling, on an unnamed mother and daughter had been chased home from their evening walk by something moving incredibly quickly behind them and making an extremely unusual yelping noise. The two sought refuge in their barn until the creature supposedly departed towards a neighbour's house, who also reported hearing the strange howling noises. This sighting is consistent with another encounter with what has become known as the Waddy werewolf only a few years later in nearby Shelby County. Sounds like an illness. I've got a rusty Newton. Yeah, it sounds like it would be quite painful, that, doesn't it, Sid? Now, first documented on the excellent compendium of bipedal beast sightings in the bluegrass, KentuckyBigfoot.com, and investigated by noted researcher Charlie Raymond, a homeowner in an older subdivision in Shelby County, reported seeing two of the creatures around 11 in the evening while out walking her dog. The terrifying duo rounded a neighbouring house on all fours, eventually standing on 2 feet and continuing into a wooded, undeveloped portion of the area. The witness, meanwhile, frozen in fear, close enough to see the hair standing on their backs. The report documents the jerky gait from which the things moved and an extreme silence coinciding with the event, often associated with various paranormal and supernatural phenomena. Now, the Gateway werewolf was named due to its supposed stomping grounds through the gateway to the Appalachians. And it's another of these alleged creatures with whom locals report experiences dating back as long as people have settled the area. Now, in 1972, a squirrel hunter allegedly viciously attacked by the werewolf in Bourbon County along the Hingston Creek in the early morning hours, reported that the beast came at him from behind, pushed him down, and left several lacerations across his back and legs that required treatment from a local hospital. This incident spurred a local farmer to come forward with his own encounter with the werewolf, which he says had crossed the road in front of him years before. Both men describe similar attributes of the beast, including having the body of a bear with silver or greyish fur, the muzzle and face of a wolf, and humanoid hands with sharp dagger-like claws. These two descriptions would provide the creature with the most infamous of nicknames, Bearilla. However, these are far from the first of their kind. Native American legends in the area tell of a great white-furred monster who emerges from mysterious hovering lights over the Appalachians to kidnap victims and return with them into the glowing skycraft. Before I carry on, I'm just wondering here, Joe, have you ever seen anything? And actually, I'm going to throw this to Lady Witch as well. Round about the times of your encounters, did you have any signs of lights, flashing lights, orbs glowing in the sky, weird things like that? Just curious. And also, while I'm thinking on, when I threw it out before and I thought maybe these are, creatures from another dimension, and then I was saying they could be alien and said the descriptions are consistent wherever they're spotted. They are. And do you know what else as well, Sid? It's like, yeah, going off at another tangent again, it's like when we talk about aliens, and do you remember we were talking a while ago about Eric Van Daniken and the Gilgamesh, in the Mahabharat, what is it called? The Mahabharats, whatever. And in Turkey and all these and the pyramids and all these different places where these ancient cave drawings or depictions of hieroglyphs are all showing things that look like either aliens or spacecraft, even though none of these civilizations would have had any contact with each other. So how did they all know that, potentially a spaceship, an alien is going to look like this, a spaceship is going to look like this? How did the Native American Indians know that a monkey would look like Bigfoot would look like a monkey when they've never ever seen a monkey before? There was nothing like that in the Americas, so they wouldn't have had a clue. They would never seen it. And it's the same here, different tribes, different areas. In the days long before television and movies and the internet and telephones even, stories are circulating in different corners of America of encounters with these creatures. Interesting. I have seen things like that, but not sure about that moment. It's just just worth throwing out there, isn't it? Just wondering if it has some relevance. Right, I shall carry on with this for a second. So perhaps the most famous of Kentucky's supposed werewolf population is the creature or creatures known to stalk the land between the lakes region in the western portion of Kentucky. Sightings of what have become known as the Beast of LBL have come from several different groups of outdoor explorers, including hunters and fishermen, hikers and bikers, Boy Scouts and campers. The wooded areas of land between the lakes are said to be littered with strange footprints, large nests covered in unknown fur that appear to be slept in, and the carcasses of deer and other animals torn apart in a way that is unnatural for predators. One of the most dramatic and violent supposed encounters with the Beast of LBL comes from the early 1980s and was reported to researcher Jan Thompson. So this is the one that I covered. It's only very short. I'll just go through it again quickly, just in case anybody wasn't here the night that we covered LBL. When police were called to a campsite in the backwoods of LBL, known for the abandoned military bunkers dotting the landscape, they were met by a gruesome and grisly scene. The bodies of 3 to 4 campers, a young couple and their children, were found badly mutilated and dismembered in a similar manner to the livestock on Ditto Road. Now, I'm going to stop that there because don't forget we had the word of the actual witness who said they hadn't been dismembered. This was just stuff that had been added. It said that one of the bodies was found in the limbs of a tree some 50 yards from the supposed attack. Again, the witnesses debunked that. He said the body that was in the tree was actually the dog man that had got up the tree. It had been fatally wounded by 2 gunshots. It had gone up the tree, obviously, to rest, and it had died through blood loss. And that strange howling was heard by investigators in the woods surrounding the brutality. Let me just catch up on the chat. Lady Witch, I don't think so, but I was in the city, so lights wouldn't have drawn much attention. Yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, thank you. But thanks. It was just worth having a little wonder. People are reckoning that they're appearing and disappearing, and it might kind of support the alien. And they don't necessarily have to be aliens, do they? You know, when Sid said before they don't look like the type of creature that could man an alien craft. Could they be creatures that are doing the aliens' bidding, perhaps? You know, they've obviously proved that they are an intelligent life form. They're highly aggressive, intelligent life form, but they're intelligent. They have got an element of human, let's say, intelligence on a par with human thought process. Could it be possible that, I don't know, that they are doing some form of work for the alien masters? Yeah, the idea of a portal into another dimension is good. However, it's also quite effing scary, though, isn't it? But look at what happened on Skinwalker Ranch, Sid. Do you remember that? That gigantic wolf that apparently ran down a teeny weeny hole and literally just vanished. And there's no way something of that size would have fit into something that small, but it did. And it vanished. And they were saying that was obviously some form of a portal, you know, a doorway into wherever, another dimension, a time slip, whatever. I think it's portals popping in from different realms. Can't imagine why they'd want to come here, though. It depends where they're from. Do you remember the story I told about the green children who'd apparently come from a different land? That was another dimension, wasn't it? In England, in when was that? That was 1200s or 1300s, all that year, that time ago. Oh, sorry, I missed Joe's comment. I do have ghostly things around me my whole life. Perhaps they can see that I'm a witchy girl. It's funny, my sisters and I were just saying how everyone calls us witches because we see things. Oh. But I feel like they can manipulate their appearance and go through portals. Yeah, I definitely think so. I mean, you know, I'm not ruling anything out. I can't poo-poo people saying that they think they're coming, you know, there's some form of an alien or what have you, or they're going on to crafts. But and it's like the people, you know, these stories where people have said they've seen these shimmering things that look a bit like, you know, it's obviously a creature moving around, but it's shimmering, and the best way they can describe it as is like predator. You know, that thing when it's cloaked, so you can kind of see it but you can't. But I think that quite frightens me, to think that, yeah, there could be something up a tree watching me and I don't know it's there. Or and the other thing as well, why would they want to cloak themselves? Because they've already proved that the nasty bastards, they're not frightened of us, are they? The only thing that I struggled with, and I don't know if anybody else thought about this, do you remember when we covered LBL? And so obviously the dad had shot the Dogman, didn't he? He shot it in the neck and the side of the face. And then the young lad guessed with them when it came back to have a go at him, he shot it in the same area of the neck. Okay. And then according to him, when they went back later with the police and the army and whatever else, and they found its body up the tree and it had died of blood loss, right? Did anybody else think that that was strange? I'm not doubting the guy, because to hear his story, it was very, very plausible. He did sound. I cannot. I can't say that he was making it up. I just can't, because he sounded very, very credible. But what I did find weird was that thing was shot with oh gosh, I can't remember now. Was it 20? Can you remember what it was, Sid? Or was it 40? Oh God, whatever. Anyway, it was shot with a shotgun. And then it was shot again by the young lad, and it died. Now, we've had other stories that we covered, like the one with Brandon and his friend, the one that Sid and I were talking about earlier, where he was on the forerunner with his mate. The thing put its hand out and started to slow the vehicle down. Just prior to that happening, his mate had shot this thing in the chest, and he said he'd seen... Oh, no problem, Sid, you're fine. He said his mate had shot it, and the shot had ripped its pectoral muscle off. Actually ripped its muscle off. And it didn't even flinch. It didn't flinch, it didn't drop, and it then proceeded to chase them out of there. Chase them out to the extent that it was running at the same speed as the forerunner and was managing to slow it down. Okay. He also shot it and unloaded his gun into it in the barn. He also shot it in the kitchen of his house, if it was the same one. There are numerous other stories about people who have had encounters with these things, have shot them, have unloaded rifles, 40 cals gone at them. They've done all sorts. And these things have not dropped. They've not flinched. They haven't shown any sign of being injured. There's blood around, but, whatever. It's as though they've had a sting off a mosquito and they've carried on coming. But the one at LBL didn't. It was shot twice and it died through blood loss. And I wondered why. Why was that one different? And it got me thinking, are these different? They've got them, type 1 through 4. Are there different ways of injuring them? Are there different levels of tolerance to injury? Maybe the one at LBL hadn't, I don't know, maybe it was weakened in some way. So I just didn't know if anybody else had noticed that when I told the story at the time. I just remembered it then, actually. It did strike me at the time, and I meant to talk about it and then didn't. But it's just why... And I'm racking my brains to try and think, why is there only that one? And there are some other stories about people saying that they... Sorry, the dog is probably going to bark because there's another pisshead walking down the street. I'm just going to go to the back of the house. So we don't have any barking and yapping. So yeah, that was just, I just wanted to throw that one out there for everybody, but it's what I've been thinking about. Why? Lady Witch Frida, perhaps they used to live here and come to visit. Oh, do you think? Oh, maybe. You see, I suppose if you go down, if we were to talk about, again, I'm going to make reference to him, Eric Van Daniken, and he has that theory that human beings, we were a bit of a genetic experiment. We were a bit of an alien experiment. And maybe that's what the dog man is. You know, alien life forms enjoy using the earth as a bit of a petri dish for the genetic experiments, and maybe that's what, you know, the dog man is. Lady Witch, maybe it wasn't a dog man but something else, or a young one that hadn't built up the defences yet. Well, I wondered if that would have possibly been a werewolf, because we've had, don't forget, we had that guy saying that he reckoned that was a werewolf, not a dog man. But then, you know, you get into the whole, well, how'd you kill a werewolf and how'd you kill a dog man? It has me well and truly stumped. But I mean, I think that they can definitely feel pain, can't they? You know, like when Brandon was saying, when that one made him feel all that sadness and what have you, and he said he knew it had done it to manipulate him into not firing at it again. But they can obviously feel pain, but they just either they don't show it, or, you know, they work through it, and then it's a little bit like Dogman Born identity, isn't it? You know, it doesn't matter how much pain you're in, just keep fighting because you've got a goal. Kill, kill, kill. Let me see if I've missed anything else. I'm going to highlight that one. Well, I've enjoyed this bit of a discussion, everybody. It just gives you lots of, you can't really answer questions, can you? Because every question throws another question up. Before I heard of Dogman, I thought of that creature as a demon dog. Right. Oh, so you've only heard of Dogmen recently as well, have you? Because what did you say? It was about 3 years ago that you saw it? That's really, really weird. I mean, there are a lot of sightings at the moment, apparently, in the UK of similar creatures. It's just we just don't know what we can't say what does or doesn't exist, can we? I mean, I used to love watching that. Oh, what's it called? That with the mountain? Is it Mountain Monsters? with those hillbilly fellas, the really fat ones. And I'd watch that and have a bit of a giggle. And they'd be talking about the hellhound or this, that, the other, and I'd think it was quite funny, but I can't say that it isn't real. I mean, I know that's all done for effect, but no, we can't say these creatures don't exist. But I think definitely dogmen, and Bigfoot. There are too many stories, too many versions that from totally unconnected people that all match up for it, I think, for it to be, a fabrication. Oh yeah, so over 3 years ago, maybe longer than 3, just last year, heard of Dogman stories and said, "Oh shit, that's it." Wow. God. Do you know, I bet that was a moment like you had. Has anybody watched that? It's just come onto Netflix at the moment about John Wayne Gacy. And there's that young lad who, well, he's obviously not now, but he was 18 years old at the time. I think it was about 1967. And he'd never reported what Gacy'd done to him. And he said when he was arrested and he saw him on the news, and it was like he said to his wife, "Oh my God, that's him, that's him." And it was like this whole realization thing. And I bet that was the same type of experience that you had, wasn't it? Said earlier, me and Nancy are doing the Galway Forest in November. Going to look into dogman sightings in Scotland. Oh, have you? Did you see the link I dropped then, Sid? A little while ago, that I mentioned to Cassius. Did both take it? Yeah, no problem. I was going to say, so where, when you're going to, so you're going to Galloway Forest, are you? I'm presuming then, is it? Oh God, it's out at Newton Stewart, isn't it? Just wait for you to get back to me. If it's the same place, it's got the Dark Sky Park status. Because I go up to Dumfries and Galloway every year, but obviously won't be going in November. I'm going in June. We're going in Campervan in November. Not sure. It's Dumfries way. Yeah, you'll be. It's just further along. It's Newton Stewart, isn't it? You should hopefully keep my fingers crossed for you. It's a cracking place to, if you're going to see it anywhere, you've got a really high chance of seeing the Northern Lights there. I think it's the oh, thank you, Frida. thumbs up always welcome, but it's absolutely fine if not. I was going to say then, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it still is, but I know when they designated it as Dark Sky Park, it was the only dark sky park in the UK. It's lovely around there on Newton Stewart. Yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful area. I was trying to think. I'm sure it was that. I think there are 4, aren't there? Might see the haggis man. It's not as big as Dogman, but quite vicious. Yeah, I'm just trying to find. I'm just going to get this now. Bear with me a second, because how many international? I've had to do this because I'm sure there was like 4 or something. All right, okay. Dark skies. International dark sky parks. Oh, there's one in Ireland as well. Mayo Dark Sky Park. Okay, sorry, now that I've finished looking at that. Sid, you and Nancy wrap up warm. Be cold enough. Yes, I know, Frida, we did Norway at New Year a while back. It was -12. Oh, I remember you. Oh, listen, don't go into Norway again, Sid. You know what happened last time? Just remembered it was talking about Norway and how cold it was, and I got talking about going in a fucking sauna looking at women's beef curtains when I didn't want to, and then we all went wrong. And I don't think my throat can hold up to any coughing and laughing like I've done before. That was an incredibly funny night, though. But yeah, that started off like that, talking about damn Norway. Yeah, it's oh, I can't unhear that. Well, you were there that night, weren't you? The woman with her foot in the flipping sauna. Or were you not in? Yeah, you were still in, weren't you? And Cassius and Porky and Green Eyes, and it was all going completely crazy. I have to say that is probably the funniest night I've had on here. And Frida was here, she can attest to that. Oh God. Right, sorry, I can't laugh. I'm gonna end up killing myself off. Good and proper. So you'll have to. Have you been up to Galway before, Sid? Daughter going on a cruise to Norway in July. Oh, is she Frida? Oh, do you know whereabouts she's going? Yeah, it was funny, Sid. But incredibly puke related too. I just remember poor Cassius kept coming in trying to change the subject. Yeah, if you've not been up to Dumfries and Galloway before, and you want any pointers on good spots, give me a shout. Oh, that was oh, Frida, that was funny. The Alien Incognito night. That with oh yeah, it's where I threw my fit, wasn't it? I threw my dummy out the pram. Alien's probe was stinking. Only been to Glasgow and Edinburgh and around there. All right, okay, Sid. Oh well, I've been going to Dumfries and Galloway for forever, and I go June every year. We have a girly holiday every year, and we go to Dumfries and Galloway. So because I pointed Nuff actually, I pointed her in the direction of a couple of spots to park up for free in her camper van. So if you want to break your journey at all, and you want to, because I know a very nice place that's right on a beach, very deserted, beautiful, and you're not far from a cracking chippy and a pub. Loch Lomond, beautiful but very touristy. You'd probably like it up where I hail from, but it takes a long time to get up there. But yeah, Dumfries and Galloway's beautiful. Yeah, no problem, Sid. Remind me nearer the time, and I'll do what I did for Nuff Nuff. I'll show you, because I mean it's expensive as well, isn't it? But I do know some really good places that you can. There's a lovely site at Sandy Hills. That's like right on the coast, but you have to pay for that. But obviously, it's got the facilities. But this other one, it's lovely. If you want a lovely deserted night or two, it's good, beautiful, beautiful place on your trip through. Iceland. Oh, Iceland. Oh, Iceland's lovely. I loved Iceland. Tell her she needs to sell a kidney though. So expensive. Oh, hey, Frida, if she's going to Iceland, she can go to the Dick Museum. Well, a camper can sustain us off grid for a week easy. Oh, fabulous. Oh, in that case, then I'll in fact, hang on. I'm going to be dead clever now. I'll see if I can post a link to it. Copy to the clipboard. Right, I'll see if I can post this. I don't know if it will let me, but I'll have a go. I'll give it my best shot. And if it doesn't translate, then I will, I'll have to do it by emails to you at some point. Now, hopefully that, so that link there, Sid, it's a place called Powillamont Beach. And it's lovely. It'll be very wild and dramatic at that time of year, but it's beautiful. And I can tell you exactly where to park and where to walk through and what have you. So, yeah, but it will cost you nothing and you will be uninterrupted. The Dick Music. Yeah, Frida. Do you remember we were talking about that when Tismy Denny was up on the Museum of Penises in Iceland? She can go and have a photo taken next to that like 6-foot whale dong. God, we started off talking about drama in the dogman community 3 hours ago, and now we're talking about whale dongs. No problem, Sid. No problem. And if you ever decide at some point to venture further into the, further north, go into the Highlands, like the Trossachs areas, I know spots around there as well that you can camp for free. And there's a couple of places that have got lavatories and so on as well, right on the loch banks, but depends on the time of year, because certain times of years you don't want to be near water because of the midges in Scotland. But yeah, I think, in fact, next time Nuff Nuff comes in, we'll have to, I'm pretty sure that she did stay in Lamont Beach. I'm sure she did, and she went there. But yeah, there's all sorts of places. So yeah, we'll touch base on that when you nearer to the time, Sid. Don't let me forget, because I will do. I mean, Christ, it's taken me 3 months to send Mrs. Mercury me bloody what's it called recipe, didn't it? The tiger bread recipe. She only got it last week. She's been asking me for it for about a year. Oh, the NC 500, not a shot. Well, just do it when you feel like it. Do it when you feel like it. And when Nancy feels up to it as well, obviously. Oh, flipping heck. Do you know what? I've lost my notes. What the heck? Bugger. Lost all my notes. Damn it. Oh well, we don't need to talk about any more Dogman shit, do we? We're talking about other things now. Unless anybody who does want to still talk about Dogman. I was just going to say critics. What other critics do we have? Cryptids. We've got all sorts of cryptids, Sid. And in fact, if you end up doing the NC 500, because you're not going to be that far away from where I was born, because you start at, it's in Inverness, isn't it, that it starts off at? Got Loch Morra with Morag the monster. So you have to go and say hello to Morag. Yeah, there are all sorts of. Do you watch that Mountain Monsters? Frida, going to head into bed, guys. We'll say good night. Thank you, Kiss, for informative from chat as well and interesting live. Oh, thank you so much, Frida. Thank you, love. I'm probably not going to be that far behind you because I'm still feeling a bit shitty. Not as bad as last night. I don't know if you can all tell. I'm not sounding as chesty and coughy and horrid. But I have got to work in the morning, so I'm gonna grab a shower shortly and get myself into bed and have a nice sleep. Even though I've been quite lazy and done nothing all day. I'm not sure which other cryptids to cover, actually, Sid, because I do really, 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 really like the Dogman stuff. I just love it. I think there are so many twists and turns to the stories and the the different eyewitness accounts. Have you followed that Abnormal Investigations? Or have you watched any of his stuff? You know, the guy who's been having the set to with Jeffrey. Because I do like the way he covers things. I really do. I know we were talking about, you see, I like covering oh yes, sorry, yes, you did tell me. Sorry, you did tell me. Yeah, I was trying to think of. Oh, so, yeah. Well, I mean, when you're looking at him on YouTube, it's only him usually sat at a table anyway with his daughter at the side of him. But it's just, which is your favourite so far? You know, of the different people that are covering stuff, because I'm presuming that you've listened to Normal Dogman Encounters, the one that Vic Cundiff runs. And then there's also, let me just find the name of them because these are really good as well. Sorry about this. Trying to find the damn channel. Oh, Cryptid Studies Institute. These are a really good channel as well. I like these. Hang on, I'm going to send you. I'm going to put their link in. Because these cover different things. So, you know, might be right up your street. And just for, because obviously I know that we. Hello. I am still yapping. There's my baby. I'm not going to be talking for that much longer though, because my throat is starting to struggle a little bit. How come you're listening in? Have you got a break? Tell people where you work. Well, you don't have to tell them where you're working, but tell them what you're doing, because I haven't told them. Joe, human visitors are here. Thanks for a great talk. Be well. See you next time. Oh, thank you, Joe. Thanks so much, sweetheart, for coming in and for sharing your story. I think we need to cover that a little bit more next time. So have a lovely rest of the day, and I'll catch up with you in a few. Not surprised your jaw hurts. I should have told everybody you socked me for breaking your car. Got my phone out of my pocket. Okay. Well, I didn't tell people where you'd started to work, but yeah, there you go. He makes the stuff that gets us all drunk, and it's lovely stuff as well. It's amazingly lovely stuff. So yeah, just yeah, so that link I just posted there, Sid, that last one for Cryptid Studies Institute, they're a really good one for you to have a watch at. And just because I see that we've still got more people watching than are in the chat. If you all notice that there is a pinned link at the top, that's for Lady Witch. She is currently rescuing cats and kittens and is footing the bills for veterinary interventions for them, and trying to get these strays castrated and neutered to stop there being more unwanted kittens. So if you can spare anything, it would be really good. Her link's there. Please click it and donate something if you can. All right, sweetheart. See you later, and I'll see you in the morning. Ta-ta. Sorry, that was to Porky Pork. Night, babes. So, I think I'm actually going to close down shortly as well, because I'm still feeling a little bit poo. Just got another sweat coming back on me. Like hot sweats, hot sweats. I'm actually wondering whether to just like ring a sickie in the morning. It's one of those, because I've been flaked out for like the last, 4 days, coming on to 5 days, feeling really shit. Thanks for all the links and stuff. It's been another belching lie. Oh, thank you, Sid. I'm gonna get off now, I think. Yeah, I'm gonna ditch off myself because I'm just feeling I am flagging a little bit now. I will come back on probably on when I'm gonna try to go back to me 2 or 3 a week. So it's probably gonna be Wednesday. I'm gonna get something highly interesting. I'm not covering that murder this week. I don't want to be deflated too soon, but yeah, it'll be next week. And we're going to do a quiz this week. So get your quiz helmets on. So thank you, everybody, for coming in. Thank you for people listening, everybody who's joined in. Thank you for the discussion. I've loved having all the chats we've had about the dog men and what we think they could be, and Bigfoot, and then obviously talking about other random things. So thank you all very, very much for joining. Hello, and thank you to everybody who's listened and not joined in. You're all welcome as always. Thanks for giving us a watch. Please come back on hopefully Wednesday night when I will have some more content lined up, but I will post it well in advance, not like tonight. And give you a heads up of what we're going to do, and we'll do a quiz towards the end of the week. Right, so thank you one and all. Night, Sid Lovey. Night Lady Witch, if you're still there. Simples. Frida's gone, hasn't she? Paula, if you're still listening, love. Danny, if you're still listening, night, and thank you. And hopefully see you all on Wednesday. So take care, and as always, see you on the bright side.